Hello, CherryTree community. Welcome to a very special interview. This interview has been a long time coming. We were supposed to do this early January, and Adam said to me that this is one interview that he has been waiting for a very long time. He cannot wait to hear the answers to some of these questions. We've posted some questions on Discord. We have picked out the best questions, and I would like to introduce to you the king of the woods. It is FeitasMax. Welcome, Feitas.
Hello, community. This is
Wow, well,
FeitasMax.
it's really good to have you here. It's a really exciting interview. I've been waiting for a while. I know so many things have happened that has delayed this, but I think we're ready now. We're ready to get right into it. I'll just tell everybody what they can see on the screen. So the first question is at the top, actually. I've got the game open at the bottom. I'm fighting copina. Let's see if we get some nice drops. Now, Feitas, the questions that were chosen, we need to give them a prize. What do you reckon? I'm going to leave the prize up to you. What do you reckon it should be for all the questions?
An easy one.
Oh, you've already thought about this by the sound of it.
Yeah, you know that we are both such Kinosian lovers.
Absolutely.
So I think the free Kinosian bow for everyone.
Should we make it an enhanced Canosian bow?
My lucky number is 3, so if you could go Kinosian E3, that would be perfect.
Canosian E3 it is. So everyone whose questions gets featured, it's Canosian E3. And also, we're going to be picking, I think, 3 people who put their in-game name in the comments, and maybe put whatever their favorite answer to the question is. They will pick random people, and they can also get a Canosian E3. So in total, if I'm not mistaken, there's 12 questions. I think we can give away in total another 3 Canosian E3s, which is a really good prize, considering that is the enhancement level to speed the bow up to the speed that you guys can see on the screen right now, which is really
so good.
Really fast. All right, let's get straight into it. So the first person, everybody knows this person, a classic troll in the community. Hey, Fate asks, hope I pronounced that right. When making the no life cape and setting the requirements, I honestly made it with the intention nobody would ever get it. Then you did. Quicker than anybody thought anybody would. So my question is simple. Why? Thanks from your favorite troll, Foxes Go Ah.
Oh, Adam. I can definitely see where he is coming from, especially with the pronunciation of my name.
Yeah, that's my fault.
I am really a pain in his butt most of the time, and let me explain it in a little bit more fancy way. Since the dawn of time, there was good and evil. In legendary stories, there was protagonist and antagonist, and in the games, there is developer versus player. And in this case, whenever Adam introduced something new and extremely hard to achieve from his point of view, I am always doing my absolute best to reach it in the most efficient and fast way possible. However, I do feel that our rivalry brings the best to the community, because Adam is always on his toes and needs to create something new for us to do. So it's a win-win.
That is very true. Actually, the first time I ever noticed that you were one of the fastest people that just keep getting top was the leaderboards. And this was a long time ago. And I remember I saw your name at the top of the leaderboards for the tribal leader kills. And I think you were the first player to get to 100,000, if I'm not mistaken. And back then, the tribal leader was not a one-shot kill. It took a long time to kill the tribal leader. And I very sneakily, while you were concentrating on something else, I made it past the 100,000. I was first for a little while, and then you took over again, and I couldn't catch you. And I always thought, how are you getting, like, you must have a secret, a technique, like a mathematical formula or something that you've really thought about in killing these mobs so quick. I could never work it out. So I don't know, do you have some secret that you want to share to make the mobs easier to kill or faster to kill, or how did you do it?
Okay, about tribal leader, let's wait for the next question about it. I will speak
Sure.
about it a little bit more later. But about killing, my studies were in arts. But oh man, in CherryTree, I am doing loads of math.
Yeah, well,
Lo-
clearly.
lo- Loads of it. Yeah, I'm testing each item out to see which would bring me most damage per second. And yeah, it's basically plain and simple. I am doing loads of math, and it became my best friend when planning my strategies here.
Well,
And just about tribal leader, when I started climbing the leaderboard for it, it was it took me longer to kill than now I'm actually killing gods. That's how
wow.
it was. Yep, it was like 1,200 damage. That was top tier damage.
Gosh, yeah, I remember
One
those
thousand.
days. I remember those days. And the tribal leader, I still remember I really struggled to even kill it. And I remember when I first started to beat it, I thought, yep, now the game's rolling for me. I'm starting to get somewhere. And look how far the game has come since. Well, thank you very much, Adam, for your question. And thank you, Feitas. Let's move on to the next question. The next question is from The Destroyer 1124. And they ask, I was there when the Wooden Queen and you have decided to start the Wooden Guild. But what led you guys to start this? What inspirations did you have that led to you choosing wood?
Ooh. First of all, it's a question from a fellow veteran. Nice. It was quite long ago when this happened. So prepare for a long monologue because I actually took some effort and went back in various channels to see what exactly motivated me to start to create a second Discord guild in CherryTree. Uh, in early September, Adam changed Discord logo to Cognium's name. Do you remember it?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and that moment was actually the last straw for me.
You'd had enough.
Yep. I was quite annoyed that only guild in CherryTree was cogs, and they kept recruiting everyone to their ranks, and there was forming quite the backlash from a certain percentage of community not wanting to join them, but they didn't have any options. So what I thought about is I created a suggestion about second Discord guild, and it brought loads of attention. I think Adam posted something in that suggestion as well. For example, if I remember, he forecast our guild name. He said that it wanted to be Woods, and we honored it. Also, I didn't want to lead the guild, so I asked from our capable staff members who would be willing to take the lead of a new guild, and that's when Brenda, also known as Wooden Queen, now stepped up and said that she would do it. She's so caring and wonderful person. I knew that it was the right choice without giving a second thought. So from the suggestion to actual voting polls for the name and all minor discussions, the guild was created within 48 hours.
Wow.
And let me say that what we have achieved so far within a guild up until now, I couldn't be more proud. We have so many excellent players at our ranks. I have calculated that around 1/3 of all active staff members comes from the Sacred Woods right now. That's huge compared that we don't have that many members compared to Cogs or Crypts. And while I am striving to help my fellow guildies to become the strongest versions of themselves, Wooden Queen and our Wooden staff members bring so much needed humanity and kindness to our guild. So it's very welcoming and lovely place for capable players.
Yeah, I second that. I every now and then I hop in when I have time into the Wooden server, and I feel nothing but loved there. It's lovely people, and like to have a laugh, and very friendly. And yeah, it's just the whole community is wonderful. The Woodens I remember when you guys started, I in the back of my head, I thought, why wood though? I couldn't understand. I couldn't even understand the cogs, to be honest, when they started. Why cogs? But why wood? Like, is wood something that it interests you, or did you just find, an item in the game and you thought, okay, well, let's build the guild around this particular item? Like, where did you exactly come up with the wood theme itself?
It's an easy question because if you remember our favorite troll, also known as Adam, whenever he posted that he would do such a huge giveaway or do a promo code for players to receive something amazing, whenever players claimed the codes, it always was one wood. So
That's
just in
right.
honor.
Oh, yes. I remember that. He used to troll everybody and give everybody one wood, and he would say, here is 500 gold, which was heaps of gold back then, by the way. And then suddenly everyone would get excited and type the code in, and it says, you've got one wood. Oh,
Yep,
God.
that's why we just wanted to honor the man, to honor the developer.
Well, there you go. Well, look, thank you very much, D Destroyer 11244. Your question. Let's move on to the next question from Exceleron. And Exceleron says, what is your top recommendation or piece of advice for new players to the online CherryTree community?
This is a very good question, but also rather easy one. I would suggest to upgrade base camp hands down. I would strongly recommend for new players to aim for at least base camp 30 as their main goal for starters, as you would unlock many crafting multipliers and damage bonuses along the way.
Yeah.
Also, would just give a sense what other skills level up next. And another important piece of advice would be spend all your daily bonus on only combat stats. Otherwise, you would regret it later on. Believe me.
Yeah, I second that. I've always said that if you want to build a strong combat character, you've got to spend all the daily what do you call them? The daily stats. Quests.
Yeah.
That's the one I'm looking for. The daily quests. Your challenge coins have got to go into combat because, and a lot of players are feeling it now. Players that maybe started halfway through last year or in October, and even if they've got the best equipment and the best armor and the best everything, their damage is still, like the feedback I get, they say to me, how can your damage possibly be that high when I'm wearing exactly the same stuff as you are and mine isn't even a quarter of what yours is? And the answer is always the same. It's the daily combat boost. So yeah, definitely, I think that piece of advice is very important. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Okay, this question is from Ziria Flame. And Ziria Flame says, hi Feitas, hi Banshin. Feitas, I would like to know from your perspective as a community manager, how do you think the community has influenced the game's growth, and how has Adam being an active part of the community changed that?
Oh, that's a wonderful question, and now I really need to get this correctly, so give me a second.
Sure.
I think a part of the reason why I have even became a community manager is because of my input as a player towards the game. All the guides I have written and the useful tips ones, the useful tips, as well as helping fellow players out on my journey from community helper to moderator and finally community manager, was heavily influenced by having a unique ability to shape this game alongside Adam.
Ooh.
So many players' ideas were implemented into the game, and let me share some of my very own ideas which impacted the game, and you guys probably didn't know, just to get a better understanding on how much each one of us would impact the game if we would think hard enough and make a proper and well thought suggestions. So first one and the very last one, I didn't know if Oh, I think I shared this with you as well, Benjamin, in the general chat. It's the teddy bear, and
Mm,
to give him a unique ability to increase the damage cap by another
That's
200,000.
that's right.
I think, yeah. I also brought Adam's attention, like that should be like 1 month ago, I guess, on how Opulin's set was already very outdated and needed some buff to be still relative at the current meta. So we get Opulin set to grant more gold and to grant some enchanting tickets. So that's cool. I also quickly acted on the concern that we really need to limit the safe tracking after Adam allowed macros again.
That's
So I
right.
was also of frontiers just to reach out to him in DMs and said this can't be like this any longer because many PC users really abused it very hard and they had the ability to open like 40,000 safes per day. That's insane advantage.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
I also pushed the narrative that it's time to push the base from level 50 to 75. And last but not least, from what I actually remember, it was to divide completion cape into 3 stages that the goalpost wouldn't be moved each time a new quest would be added or new item or new mobs to kill, and that players would lose their so hard fought capes immediately. So that's how No Life Cape was born. I knew there was more, but I don't remember. I am so long here that I can't track of any of all things I have suggested or what was implemented, but it was
Yeah.
quite few.
Well,
And
go on. Sorry, go on.
yeah, I just want to give a quick shout out for our new community managers who joined our ranks recently. It's my guilty Faithful, as well as Siggy and Empathetic Lord. They have brought a lot of energy to managers team, and I would like to give a message for our community actually that we are really revitalizing suggestion section big time. And each week, top best ideas, we will bring them those to Adam, and we will keep a close track of those ideas, which will be approved so we could see a daylight sooner or later. So please, guys, go nuts and make suggestions. We see you.
Yeah, that's very important actually. We know what's going on in the background in the community managers and the what's happening with the development, because a lot of players don't get to see that. They're only seeing what is posted in general chat or maybe in the ask for help, etc. It's only a tiny bit, but once people, like, if only people could see what was happening and how much, like, we even have our own staff meetings now where all the community managers get on voice chat. We talk about things, we discuss issues, we discuss how the game's going, and we talk about things that, you know, that we can change on Discord, and suggestions that are being made in the suggestions channel are being looked at, and all of this sort of stuff happens behind the scenes and people don't realize that it's happening. So that's actually a really good question. Okay. And also, before we move on to the next question, I would like to say that what makes this work, what makes the suggestions work, what makes the community managers team works, and all of this is able to happen because we have a developer who will actually listen. You play another game and you'll see where, you know, you don't even get to make suggestions, whereas this game, you know, Adam's listening. If he likes something, it's like a week or so turnaround. Sometimes it's bang, done. He just programs it, and I think it's really important to understand that, you know, not everybody's suggestions can be made straight away, but slowly, things do get acted on. So shout out to Adam, who's honestly listens to everybody in the community's word, and if what is being suggested fits how the game works best, he will implement it. Just like when he brought out the scythe of the barbecue scythe, and I said to him, I said, well, here are the suggestions from the community about, you know, on the YouTube channel about the effects. because people were asked to pick an effect. And as soon as I said to him about the cook, the Scythe automatically cooks food, he just said, "Oh, I like that one." And then I went to sleep. I woke up in the morning and I said, "Okay, so what about these other suggestions?" He goes, "It's already done. I've already picked it. This is great." So if he really likes it, guaranteed it's going to be implemented in the game. So thank you very much, Ziria Flame, for your question. Okay, our next question is from Angelic Magistrate 28. How does it feel to be the first no-life caper and E5 Canosium bow, and how many hours a day or weeks did you spend on getting all that?
Oh, these all questions are the ones it really needs a big story. So buckle up. I will go on a huge monologue once again. Yeah. So as I already explained, when Adam brought No Life Arcade to the daylight, I literally felt morally obligated to achieve it as soon as possible because it was my idea and I wanted to honor him by achieving it first. So basically, once the requirements were clear, I started chasing after it immediately. It took me from the end of August till 3rd of December. And funny facts about this, when I started, I knew I must start from the lowest combat mobs because I expected that upcoming updates will definitely increase my damage output, so it will be most efficient.
Can I just say you did the opposite of what I did, and I regret it because I should have started from the lowest. I started from the highest because I wanted to get the gods out of the way. And then later on, I thought, why did I do that? I should have started from the easiest, the one hit, and then as time goes on and the new updates come up, damage will increase. Like boosts, for example, came into the game. So your strategy worked, mine didn't.
Oh my, indeed. And what I would like to say also, I think it was like so recently, but just hear me out. There was no Ring of Cognium when I started. There was no Blessed Sacrifice.
Yep.
No Berserker Ring. Fastest way was just Ring of Speed and Canosian Bow. That's all I had. Can you imagine how much it has changed already? How many powerful items were introduced? I don't think I even managed to hit around 100k when it all started. So the damage increasement was huge. Also, once Ring of Cognium was introduced, I didn't have much gold back then, but I tried desperately to get it as soon as possible because its effect was definitely what I needed for the No Life Cape, for those fast respawns. So I really searched for it like a madman. And one morning I woke up one morning and I saw a message from Adam, and I was so confused what Adam would have messaged me about, and it was a link to one of the Rings of Cognium auctions. So it was really funny that he noticed that I was searching for that ring.
That's the combat. That's the combat, though, right? And the combat is probably, from someone who's been playing a long time, the easiest really to get. You can pretty much one-shot most of the mobs until you get to, say, the kingdom, the immortal realm maybe, and stuff like that. But what freaks me out is the scrolls. To do the treasure scrolls, and now to do the safe, I don't know. I don't know. That's the bit that I'm not looking forward to. I don't think I could have patience to do the treasure scrolls. So how you had the patience to do the treasure scrolls, I've got no idea.
On my No Life Arcade journey, I skipped all the content and all the events, and we had pretty good ones. For example, second birthday event, and I skipped all of that. I was just grinding the mobs, and the hardest part indeed was treasure scrolls. I didn't had much time back then, so just imagine I sacrificed like 2 months of lunch breaks and all free time in the evenings. That sucked so hard.
I remember actually we had a conversation in private message when you basically, because I asked you and you said, well, I can't do this event. I said, but why? And you said, well, I've just got to focus on the no life cape. I thought you were mad. I thought you're missing events. That's the best part of the game. So, people got to realize the commitment that you had at the time to be the first person. You made a lot of sacrifices. So, honestly, that's something to be commended. So fantastic. Wow. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Corvus991 says, how did you find this game? And what motivated you to chase the no life cape? I think we've done a lot of the no life cape stuff already, but how did you find this?
Oh, yeah, please. Yeah, that's enough of no life.
That's enough of no
I
life
am more. Yeah. So about this game, it's so like almost a couple of years ago, I was desperately searching a game which I could play, but there is a catch: without actually investing too much of my time.
Yep.
So like,
sorry, I find that ironic
playing.
considering how much time you spend on it now. But anyway.
Yeah. So even if I was busy, I just wanted to fill my hunger and craving for gaming. I think you know what I mean.
Yep.
So I was various types of games and looking in Google Play with various keywords such as solo RPG, idle RPG, and text RPG. And I think I found CherryTree just by pure accident, actually, because the name CherryTree was so strange for me. I didn't know what to expect at all. All of those other games names would be Epic Conquest, Divine.
Yeah, that's right. Battle of this and Conquest of that. That's right.
Heroes of that. Yeah, and so on. But once I opened this game, I really liked what I saw. I have played various games, and this one had many things done right. I absolutely loved that it doesn't have any annoying ads, and there are no limits on how much you can leave it idle.
Yeah.
So I could farm as much as I want. And I started to play this game on 2023 October, and I joined Facebook community around on 2024 February, and on March 1st I joined the Discord community. So on this weekend it will be my 1 year celebration when I am with you guys.
Wow! Oh my goodness! So you've actually been playing longer than me. But I've been in Discord longer than you. That's what it is. But wow, there you go. Yeah, I must admit my journey is pretty much the same. I think within half an hour I'd already bought premium, and I thought this is so cool. But honestly, when I played so many games in the past that after a while, I think, okay, I can see this is going to be boring after I played it for a week and I don't know how much I'm going. But with CherryTree, that has never happened. I have never ever found CherryTree boring, and I think it's because of the amount of updates that Adam puts into the game. There's always something new every week, right?
The game is unrecognizable from what we started to play.
Exactly.
But it's totally different. So you are playing the different game within the same game.
Within the same game. That's right.
And the community is the best part for me. Because my FeitasMax character just grinds the gods right now, but I can interact with all the community, solve some problems, help others out. It's a wonderful experience.
That's right. Well, thank you, Corvus, for your question. Natalan4 says, "Hey, Feitas, I actually got two questions. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to ask two. Anyways." Oh. I actually like your name. How did you get the name? Your name, Feitas. And secondly, how did you get the idea to open your helping thread, which is probably the go-to for everyone in this server whenever they get stuck?
Okay. Let's do this. Two questions in one. That was really smart. So, when I started playing multiplayer games at a young age, I didn't care much about my name within a game, but after becoming a bit more competitive as years passed by, so around at age of 15 or 16, I started thinking about how I should represent myself, and that my nickname would be some kind of, it would have some meaning. So my name is actually tied to English word fate. and I just wrote it down by how it is spelled in my language, and so I could add the letters A and S to the end of it, because it's how male names in my language ends with.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, this is the basic idea. But I really thought back then, when I was a teenager, that I was so badass that I found such a cool name and it will be so popular within English-speaking communities. But mate, you and many others have proven it to be so wrong. You alone have butchered my name so many
Oh, I'm so
times.
sorry. I butcher everything.
Uh,
I butcher everyone's names. I make typos. Adam pulls his hair out sometimes when he sees what I write. I've called Adam Kate because because I've went to type mate and I've pressed the K and he goes, "Who's Kate?" I said, "No, I meant mate." I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Apologize but I'm getting it right now. Yeah.
yes, and I'm glad for that. And for the second part of the question, I don't know if it got on your radar, but I have opened it as FeitasMax thread in the suggestion section, and since the game evolves so fast, all my written guides and even your video
That's
guides,
right.
they are getting outdated so fast. So I came to a realization that the best idea to help players out would be just to consult them individually. So it takes way more, but I can give them best advices up to current meta. So that's how this is my latest way just to contribute for the community and to help guys to get up faster from if we are stuck from mid game to the end game. That's it.
Right. Yeah, and I can second that because you're right about the game changes so quick that you can't really make a guide. It gets outdated within a month. Within a month, everything, like if you go and watch my early gamers guide now, it's just ridiculous. It makes no sense because there's so much better ways to start a game than what I originally did in my early gamers guide, because the game has changed so much. So yeah, it is a good idea. So, sometimes you want a quick answer to something, just put it in the thread rather than searching for a most up-to-date guide or something like that. But thank you so much, Natalam, for your question. I hope I said that right. Okay, Spooky Giant 66571 says, if you could add another spec on the wishing well, what would it be? And for example, chance of getting souls, ring fragments, more saves, chance of dodge crit, or something else.
That's more like it. I love questions like this where I can brainstorm new things to implement into the game.
Adam's listening now. Adam's watching this. He's listening. So here's your time to suggest something.
Okay. So hear me out. Give me a second to think. I would like to do that very, very smart. What I would add wouldn't be only spec. I would add whole second page of wishes, actually, and that would be a huge gold thing. I think about like 150 million gold of investment.
Wow.
But there is a catch for it. Wait for it. But for unlocking this page, you would also need to be a dedicated player. So, meaning that whales wouldn't have access to it before reaching certain achievements within a game. Requirements would be base camp level 70, max XP in all skills, and 5 million kills in total. So it would be a safety measure. Yeah, it would be a safety measure versus dupers and cheaters, so they wouldn't unlock such OP wishing page just by having loads of gold. And that out of the way, I would put loads of awesome stuff in there. Couple of legendary perks examples. Damage cap, another like 300,000
Yes.
total. I would also add more attack speed for melee, just to just to boost melee just a little bit
Yeah,
more.
yeah. Melee does need something quicker for melee. That's right. Yep.
Maybe even a crit rate for melee, maybe a low percentage, but just so they could also crit. Crit is such funny mechanic. Maybe a chance to stop ring fragments by higher combat monsters and many others. So Adam, if you would like to hear more, feel free to DM me.
Well, there you go. I actually really like the concept. Have a whole new page, call it Wishes 2 or Elite Wishes or something like this, and have just a whole new set with requirements. You've got to get to, like you said, a certain number of kills and all that sort of stuff before you unlock it, which will give you something else to aim for, something else. Once you've reached the end game, you're not just sitting there fighting the gods and just getting the same drops that you've already got. It's something else that you can aim for. I still think there's room for more mobs. I think something is coming. I can't really say what yet, but I'm pretty sure something is coming where there are more mobs. So, and maybe like a new area. So it will be really cool if something like that gets implemented. But yeah, I think you've given Adam something else to think about. So thank you very much, Spooky Giant, for your question. It's stimulated a lot of discussion right now. Okay, BV1093 says, what would you like to see being added to the game? And if you could remove one feature, what would it be? Now, that's an interesting question.
More theory crafting for me. Yes. So what I would like to see being added to the game, this is an easy one. I would like to see in-game guilds as soon as possible. And Adam,
it's there, isn't it? It's already there. Adam said the in-game guilds is there. He just has to press a button and it'll be activated.
Yeah, but the problem with guilds right now is that he also mentioned recently that the guilds lack of purpose. So I've written loads of suggestions in the suggestion channel. So if it could bring attention to check those out, that would be cool. And I have a couple of more ideas. So first one would be, and this is just to fix something, and I would like also to share it. I would really like that to bring 11 weapon fragments and armor fragments to the Elven Queen and King drop tables. We could keep it in the Elven chest as a bonus, as it is now, but the amount, but in my opinion, the amount of the chest provides for arrow making and divine potion scrolls making is nowhere near enough. I would strongly recommend bringing those back to the loot tables. And this is the big one. One more suggestion, and I have pushed this for Adam, but only in DMs, not for the community to know. So this will be a reveal. It would be mechanics on how players could catch up with combat stats to the older players. Not like 100%, but let's say for around 70 or 80% of a global level on how much player base got of the combat stats. So veteran players have some advantage, but not an overwhelming gap like it is now. And as you have mentioned already, where players ask to how much you're doing that much damage, but we can't. So it's nice to be in the lead and have loads of combat stats, but I think we should make a game field a little bit more fair for players who joined it recently.
Yeah, that is actually really important to note, and I think it's something I said earlier as well. Players who don't put into combat stats in their dailies really are feeling it when they get to the late game. But what about players that start today? And they will forever be behind if something doesn't happen to help them to catch up. So that is a really good suggestion. What about...
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go on.
We also have the second part of the question. So what I would like to remove, I don't think it would be that much controversial, but I would state it anyway. We need to get rid of outs. I don't see any need for them in this game as it is now. So they only give certain advantage with resources farming for small percentage of players who are willing to have alts, and make things very messy when we are investigating cheaters. Because if even more alts are involved in some schemes, it's really a headache. I don't think alts should be
100%
allowed.
agree with you. 100%. I've said this since the start. I don't think alts should be allowed. Lots of games don't have them. Hard to monitor though, because the game isn't server based at the moment. As far as everybody on it, it's got some offline element to it. So some people do some things that are not right while they're offline with their alts, and then they come back online, and then there's the trading aspect. So they trade to themselves, which is why Adam said mass trading to your alt is a bannable offense, because it pretty much guarantees that there are a certain percentage, and it is only a tiny percentage of people, will gain a really unfair advantage by making 4 or 5 alts, having them farm 24 hours a day and transferring all of the stuff that they get to their main. And that's not fair. That's not in the spirit of the game. So absolutely 100% agree with you. I think it's okay if you have one alt, because maybe some players want to play differently. Maybe one player's, one wants to be a farmer and that kind of thing, while another account could be just for combat. Or if a player, for example, wants to play Iron Man mode on his account and wants to also continue with their main, I think that's okay. But the alts specifically for gaining an advantage by having, and I know people do it, I know people that have got 4 or 5 alts, and you can just see that they're just producing too much, and I think it wrecks the economy, because you've got one player who suddenly gets rich, and then it does affect the markets. So definitely agree with you on that one. Thank you, BV Legend. Love the question. Lishbat says, hey Feitas, a part of the community has been showing great interest in your suggestions of a possible growth item coming into the future. Can you tell us more about how a growth item would work and how it would fit into the current game meta?
Lishbat, this is our new community manager and pathetic lord. Once again, shout out for you, mate. And as we already discussed in the beginning of our interview about my achievements with tribal leader and dominating the tribal leaderboard, I was so fascinated with this monster, and we had only at the beginning chickens and tribal leader in the leaderboard. So I chose to go hard on that one.
Yes.
And when you see me at 100 kills of tribal leader, I thought, hell no, I won't leave it like this. So I went up to 1 million kills.
You're crazy. You are crazy.
Yep, I admit it. So now about the tribal leader. I really like him a lot. So I even wrote some of CherryTree lore in the suggestion in CherryTree lore channel about him, and it's a mask which is passed down for each tribal leader, and whoever wears it next would become even more powerful. So mechanics also works pretty much the same in my suggestion for the item. It would be a mask dropped by tribal leader himself, with a very, very small percentage, like 1 in 100k. And at the beginning it would have very low stats, just basically a trash item. But there is a catch. The more enemies you slay while it is equipped, the more it becomes powerful. So it's an item.
I love it.
Yep, you wouldn't be able as the whale to buy it, and it would be straight OP. So you would have to kill a lot of mobs, and at certain levels, once you complete the quota, it would be upgraded. And hear me out, it would be the most OP item, and it would be upgradable up to 10 million kills. Only a handful of only a handful of people have 10 million kills right now in the charity, so it
That's
would be
right.
very long grind. So, but I would definitely do that. It would be so exciting.
Well,
It would take months for it to be the best helmet in the game, but it would be such a funny mechanic.
that is really interesting. Um, I think I know why Adam has been wanting to see this interview for so long because of all these great suggestions. Well, hopefully
Yes.
something does happen. I really like that idea. I think that's fantastic. It motivates you to focus on a particular part of the game. Put the mask on and see how you go. Thank you, Lishbat, for your question. And let's move on to the next one. We're almost at the end. We've got Palades who says, hello, my question is there life outside of CherryTree? So what does your day look like in your real life?
Okay. I will gladly share. I already mentioned in this interview that I am quite busy, but from the looks of it, I am quite often online in this game. But let me explain how I do it. I am 33 years old, and me and wife got a lovely 2.5-year-old daughter. So you already imagine, Benson, that it's really time consuming. It's
Of course.
it's a real grind. And also I wish to have as much quality time with my family as possible.
Of course.
And on top of that, I also work out at least 4 times a week.
Ooh.
These are mostly short workouts, mostly at home. I have dumbbells, some rubber gums, and I am training with my own weight. I couldn't hit the gym because time-wise it's just too much time. I
Yeah, not
couldn't afford
practical.
it.
Yeah.
Yep. I also like to invest in myself and my knowledge, so I'm reading loads of books for entertainment mangas. And when it comes to the warm season, we recently bought a summer house, and there are loads of work where it needs to be done. But we are doing our best for our daughter, so we would have loads of space and possibility to touch grass. And you guys heard it correctly. CherryTree first no lifer touches loads of grass during the warm season.
Wow. Do you chop a lot of wood? Are you going to chop a lot of wood in your new holiday house?
Yes, we need to chop loads of wood just to make environment much cleaner, safer, and and loads of moving the lawn.
Well, there
So
you
yeah,
go.
loads of touching grass. But as you can see, I make it, and I don't drink, I don't smoke. So whenever my colleagues go for a smoke break, I just check in the Discord on
CherryTree
those
break. CherryTree break.
break just to catch up what's going on. And in the evenings when I am walking the dog, I also check it. So I make it work, just combine multitasking. That's how I am.
Good time management skills, it sounds like.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. Okay. Underground platypus. Is this the last question? It is. It's the last question. Hi, Feitas. I was wondering what other games you enjoy playing, and if you have any big achievements in those games like you do in CherryTree, since you were the first No Life Caper, of course.
Yeah, first no lifer again.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I will go shortly about a few games, and I will try to explain on one a bit more. So, as a kid, I absolutely adored Serious Sam. It was such a cool shooting game. Have you played it, Benjamin?
Serial Cell? No.
No, it's Serious Sam.
Serious Sam. I've heard of it, but I haven't played it.
It's a cool shooting game, and there was loads of awesome monsters, and it was on the Egypt theme, so I absolutely loved it.
Ooh.
And I was young, I completed it like 6 times. I also really liked Need for Speed games, especially the Most Wanted.
Oh,
Most Wanted. Yeah, also GTA Vice City, GTA San Andreas. Uh, one RPG game was Fable: The Lost Chapters.
Oh,
That
Fable,
was a
yeah.
game. Yeah, it was amazing hero journey where you started as a little boy, and once you went on quest, you would end up really old. So that was a fantastic representation of hero's journey. And one more game from non multiplayer would be Skyrim. I
Oh,
absolutely
yes.
love. Have you tried
Now
it?
you're talking my language. That's
Do you
it.
know what full soda already means? I asked you to give me a DM when you knew what full soda means.
Ulstravad.
Have
Oh,
you played
who says that? Oh, is that something someone says?
in
Or is that a
the
character?
Skyrim? Yes. If
Mm,
I want to play a little deeper, you will definitely understand it.
okay, I'll have to, because believe it or not, I started playing Skyrim, but I haven't gotten through it. The Elder Scrolls series are like my favorite series ever. I played Morrowind. I finished Morrowind like maybe 5 times, and also Oblivion. I played so many times. I lived in those games when I was a teenager. When I was in my early to mid 20s, I lived in those games. So Skyrim came, and I was a bit older. I started working. I didn't have time for it, but my son has bought a Nintendo Switch, and I went and bought Skyrim on it. I've started playing it, but I haven't had much time to finish it yet. So I'll have to look out for that.
Really. And for Momo RPGs games, the multiplayer ones, when I was young, I started in the RuneScape. I played Lineage 2, League of Legends, but one game to rule them all was World of Warcraft. I spent years. So I had plenty of achievements in PvP and PvE. And listen, if this bit will sound familiar to you, I was so skilled Warlock in one patch that I received a special role in the guild to teach other Warlocks best gearing up methods, how to utilize their spells, and best rotation, other useful tips. So it's a different game, but it doesn't it sound familiar? It's basically what I am doing right now, helping them.
That's exactly what you're
Yes,
doing now. Exactly.
I
That's
really,
so funny. Well,
I
look,
really love build.
it was made. That's your path. Your path is helping players, making suggestions, that kind of thing. And obviously, you do it really well. And you maximize everything that you do so that it is like we have seen in this video. For you to actually get that no life cape, you have to. It's a sacrifice, but it's also a matter of doing everything to the absolute maximum ability to save as much time and do things the best possible way. So there you go. And sadly, yep, that's it. That's the end of the interview. Well, Feitas, it has been an absolute pleasure having you on the channel and chatting about everything. Like I said, everybody that's had their question featured will get a Canosium Bow E3, and I'll send it to them after I release the video, of course. Otherwise, they're going to go, hang on, why have you sent me a Canosium Bow E3? If they haven't seen the video yet. So I'll get the video out in the next maybe, I'd say 48 hours. And anyone who puts their in-game name in the comment has a chance. We're going to give away 3 more Canosium E3s. But make sure you put what your favorite question or answer to a question was in the comment as well. So once again, thank you so much for joining us, Feitas. It's been an absolute pleasure.
It's also my pleasure. Listen, mate, I have listened for you hours and hours, all your videos, and to finally have the ability just to communicate with you, it's mind-blowing. I've seen you on TV so many times, and finally we just having such a wonderful conversation about the game we both love. It's amazing.
It is, and I always say that people bring energy, and right now I feel full of energy, and I absolutely needed it because the last week I've been a bit down, but I'm just so pumped right now after chatting to you, and I'm really excited to get the video out. So once again, thank you so much for joining us here. I'm sure everybody watching this has also really enjoyed listening to you, and I'm sure that your your thread ask the question thread is going to blow up now. You're going to have to take some time off work to answer some of them. There's going to be so many questions.
I will answer each single one of them. I love helping out community.
It's obvious you do, and that's why you are in that community manager position, because you've done so much for the community and you continue to. So thank you once again, and until next time, I don't know what I have no plans yet for what the next interview is going to be, but that it might be in a month, it might be in 6 weeks. I don't know what's going to happen, but this one's been a long time coming, and there you go, Adam. Finally did it. You finally got to hear the Feitas interview. So thank you, everybody, and I will see you guys next time.